All right, so we who doesn't want a good laugh, right? Now get this. We are created for three things. We have this need for three things, okay? Number one, we need work with purpose. Number two, we need rest for renewal. And number three, we need recreation for diversion. Okay, so we need work with purpose, we need rest for renewal, and we need recreation for diversion. Okay, now watch this. Now, when it comes to work, that's kind of an easy thing because we all like eating and living indoors. Because if you don't work, you don't get to eat, and you probably live outside, right? Now, I talked to a dad one time, that was his solution for his son. He goes, I'm going to make him sleep in the yard. That's a terrible idea. Now, when it comes to rest, we got the rest thing figured out because when you get fatigued, you don't have any choice, you rest. Now, if you don't rest, you become a jerk, and people will tell you you're a jerk. Now, see, the one I think that gets cheated all the time is recreation. Now here's what I'm saying. I want you to get this, right? Okay. Now, so that's enjoying life. Now, the value of recreation is found in the name recreation, to recreate. To recreate. So that's why we need that kind of diversion. Now, I'm not saying that everybody needs to go join the gym. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying you need to run. Now, if you see me running, you better run too. All I have to do is outrun one of y'all. That's it, right? I'm not telling you to just abandon everything and run away. Because, again, that goes back to the eating and living indoors thing, right? But what I am saying is that there has to be a little bit of fun in our lives to keep us from being just way too serious. How many of you guys know some people that are just way too serious? Know somebody just way too serious? How many of you are sitting by somebody that's just, yeah, okay. All right, so we got so that brings us back to the question that we asked last week. Are you happy? Are you enjoying the life that God gave you? Are you enjoying life unfolding in front of you? Now, I'm not saying you need to, like, every moment is like a, woohoo, this is great. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, you look at life unfolding in front of you and say, you know what, I know it's going to be all right. I know God's got this. I know that there's something valuable that's going on here, right? So back to that enjoying life. Now, when you look back at the monumental moments of your life, what you're going to remember is not the new thingy that you got. You're not going to remember the things that you got to do. And you're not going to remember the places that you went. See, I've never met anybody say, you know what? I know why my life went wrong. It's because I didn't get the phone. I mean, life was downhill from there. Didn't get the phone. Nobody's ever come to me and said, you know why I didn't go to college? Because I never got to go to Disneyland. That's it. Ruined my life because I never. So nobody's ever said that. So here's the deal. When we look back at the monumental moments of our life, always it's the people that we got to do life with. It's the lessons that we learned and the experiences that changed us along the way. So the stuff of significance, the stuff that matters, the stuff that we remember, the stuff when we think about it, you know, that was a great time, life-changing moments. That's where it was the people that you got to do life with, the lessons that you learned along the way, and the experiences you had that changed you. That's what did it. So, matter of fact, for instance, I think between the second and third grade, we had the coolest vacation like ever. We spent the entire summer, the whole summer at the lake. Swimming, fishing, around a campfire, hanging out, sleeping under the stars. It was awesome. The entire summer. Now, we didn't have to bathe or anything. You could swim. It was wonderful. It wasn't until years later that I realized we were homeless. I had no idea. Because the monumental stuff of life are the people that you get to do life with, the lessons that you learn, and the experiences you have that change you. That's what really matters, right? Okay, so, and that's why the power of living happy is in the fact that it builds hope in us. Okay? That's the power. This is why the reason that you need to live a happy life, and again, it's not the woohoo, happy dance. That's not what I'm saying. The reason that you need to be okay with being you and not wishing you were somebody else, is because that builds hope in you. Watch this. This is Romans chapter 5 and verse 3. Romans chapter 5, verse 3. I'm going to read this to you, right? It says, we also have joy with our troubles. Now, it's interesting that it doesn't say you have joy because of your troubles. That's just dumb. Life sucks and I'm so excited. That's just dumb. Okay? We have joy with our troubles because we know that these troubles produce patience. And patience produces character. And character produces hope. The reason you can have joy in troubles is because you know who you're becoming because of the stuff that you're learning along the way. You still with me? Right? So no, it's the stuff of life that robs our hope. That's the stuff that damages our heart the most, right? So now, it's when these places of hopelessness show up in our life, that's when the lines get moved and people change direction, and we just settle for way too much less. As a matter of fact, I've watched this. I've watched a kid has plans to go to college, and something happens to derail that plan, and they end up never going to college. A couple has these great plans. Here's what we're going to do, and then she gets pregnant. A guy loses a job. The economy takes a turn. Relationships disintegrate or families separate. Tragedy strikes. An illness shows up. See, these are the things that cause us to lose hope, right? And so that's the struggle. Now, it's the voice of hopelessness that causes us to surrender to a lesser life. So I guess the challenge I really want you guys to get today, don't settle for less than God's dream for you. Don't settle for less. Say, well, you don't know what's going on. No, I don't. But you don't know what's right ahead either. Okay? Don't settle for. See, so what happens is we get to the place when we lose hope that we settle it with two words. I can't. When the enemy of your soul convinces you that that's who you are, that I can't. When the single mom is just really wore out, she says, I can't. A relationship gets hard, I can't. You see what I'm talking about? It's the constant doctors and medications. Why I just can't. It's the struggle to keep it all together. I can't, right? So, but from the pages of the Bible, God does miraculous things from the likes of people like us who can't accomplish what we think we should accomplish. Watch, you see, Moses couldn't speak. I think he's a pretty popular guy, right? Gideon couldn't win. Joseph couldn't because his family was dysfunctional. Nobody has that t-shirt, right? Peter couldn't lead because he had a temper problem. Paul couldn't because of his past. Nobody would forget. See, it's the struggle to hold on to hope when things don't go according to plan. That's the problem, right? Okay, now, so it changes who we are, changes how we talk, changes how we function in life. Just like in Luke chapter 24, when the disciples were on the Emmaus Road. Instead of talking with faith and hope, they were talking sad and defeated. Now, there's this verse in Acts chapter 27 and verse 20. I just want to get this to you. Acts chapter 27 and verse 20. It says, when neither sun nor stars appeared for many days, and the storm continued raging, we finally gave up all hope of being saved. Listen, it's when the stuff of life feels like it's relentless. That makes sense? Anybody feel like that you're being ganged up on by stuff, right? When it gets relentless like that, that's when we lose hope, okay? And see, now the problem is that's where people become disqualified. Not because God disqualified you, not because other people disqualified you, but we disqualify ourselves. Because we tell ourselves those two words. I can't. We say, I can't. Okay, now, so it's pile of disappointments and delays that happen. So now don't disqualify what God has called out. Watch this. Gideon was too small, but he defeated a whole army. Moses ran from his past, but he still led God's people out of bondage. David was too young, but he defeated a giant that nobody else wanted to face. Abraham was too old, but he had a son anyway. Rahab was a prostitute, but God still used her as part of the lineage of Christ, okay? Peter was afraid, but he still took the lead. Paul's reputation was bad, but God used him for good. Lazarus was dead until Jesus called him out. Don't tell me your situation is too much for God to handle. God's got this, right? God always finds unlikely heroes in the likes of the disqualified like you and I. That's where his heroes come from. They don't come from superstars. They come from average people like you and me. That's where God does his best stuff. And that's because he deposits his treasure in these unassuming jars of clay. That's so when people look, they go, wow, God did something. And nobody ever goes, whoa, what a cool clay jar. Is that impressive? Got to get me one of them. Nobody ever looks at you and go, well, yeah, they're just brilliant. They just got this figured out. So it's not what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside that God is doing stuff for us. So it's not Jesus and us, it's Jesus in us that makes a difference in the world. You see what I'm saying? So it's not the jar, it's what God puts inside. So people can look and go, wow, God is awesome. Okay, so what God builds in you is what you don't already have. Okay? So let's finish this up, right? So the stuff that comes your way that you think is going to break you, that actually serves to make you. Now, you probably can't see it right now, but there's coming a day where you're going to look at today. You're going to go, wow, that was a really powerful time in my life. Some of you can look at your life right now. You look back just a few years ago, you know what? That was such a growth period for me. Can I just give you some fatherly advice, I guess? Whatever's going on today, it's just today. It's just today. So, man, I've been going through this for a long time. Well, good. Well, you're getting closer to the end. Now, if you keep going back and restarting this thing, this may be an intelligence test. I don't know. Right? But see, here's the deal. There's this story. It's in Psalms 137. And the way it works out is God's people had been taken captive and carried away to Babylon, modern-day Iraq. Isn't that ironic? So here they are. They're slaves in Babylon. Slaves. And it's funny, people talk about slavery as if it's something just in the last few hundred years. Been around since the dawn of history. If we're going to start making things right from slavery, we're going to have to go back a really, really long ways, right? And so they're slaves in Babylon. They've been taken captive. They've lost everything. And here's what the scripture says in Psalms 137. It said that we sat by the rivers of Babylon and wept. They looked at the situation, how terrible things were, and all they could do is like, wow, man, life just really stinks. This is really bad right now. I can't believe all these terrible things are going on. We sat by the rivers of Babylon and we wept, and we hung our harps on the willows. They allowed the circumstances to rob them of their song. My friends, circumstances will change all the time. They hung their harps on the willows. That's it. I'm done singing. And it says, our captors required of us a song. Come on, sing us one of your songs of victory now. Sing us one of your church songs now. Tell us how good God is right now. Where is Jesus in all this kind of mess? Do not let the enemy of your soul rob you of your song, my friend. You've got to keep that song in your heart, because that's your victory, that's your hope, that's your joy. Don't let him take that from you. And here's what they said. How can we sing when we're captive in a foreign land? You ready for some insight? We're not singing about where we are. We're singing about whose we are. I'm not singing because everything is so good. I'm singing because God is incredibly good. You see what I'm saying? Here's the right way to do that. It's Acts chapter 16. The Apostle Paul and his buddy Silas are in jail. Anybody know what that's like? Except they're in there for doing something good, not like you. I'm sorry. That was a secret, huh? They're in the Philippian jail. It's midnight. It's dark. There's no light in there. They're literally chained to the walls. And in the midst of that darkness, in the midst of that prison, in the midst of being locked out in that horrible tragedy, the Apostle Paul and Silas find a song of praise on the inside. And they begin to sing out those praises to God. The other prisoners heard it. Now watch this, friends. When they begin to sing those songs of praise in that dark place, and when they're chained to the wall, and the prison doors are slammed shut, it said that the prison began to shake. The doors flew open. The chains fell off. My friend, you don't understand that your song of victory is what sets you free. Your songs of praise is what opens the doors. Your songs of joy are what brings it back. Do not let the devil rob you of your song. You got to hang on to that. If you lose your song, you lose your joy. If you lose your joy, you lose your hope. You lose your hope, you're defeated. Don't let him steal your song. My favorite part in this whole story in Acts chapter 16, I love this. My favorite verse, the Philippian jailer, he's freaking out because he thinks everybody's got loose. Because you know, most of the time, when they open the prison doors, everybody runs away. Did you know that the enemy of your soul expects you to run away from where you're at right now? He expects you to get scared and run. He expects you to say, that's it, I'm out of here. But here's what happened. The Apostle Paul, out of that darkness, made a proclamation I want you to make. We're still here. I'm still here. You're not running me off. You're not stealing my song. You're not getting rid of me that easy. You're not going to scare me away. You're not going to beat me down. I'm still here. I'm still believing God. I'm still thinking that God is in charge. I'm still here. Don't let him steal your song. And don't let him run you off. Your songs of praise would open those prison doors and set the captives free. Anybody here got a song? I'm not talking something dumb, you know. Here's a word of encouragement I want you to get, okay? Find yourself a song that speaks to your heart, that encourages you, that strengthens you. Find yourself a song, and when the enemy of your soul tries to get in your head, you begin to sing that song back to him, and he will run away. I'm telling you, that's how it works. You say, well, I don't feel it. That's not the question. You still got a song? Matter of fact, the last one that the worship team did, I love that. He loves us. There's nothing that we have to do to earn his love. He already loves us. He already accepts us. He's already proud of us. Not because of something you did, but because of something he did. He's not proud of the pot. He's proud of what God is doing on the inside. That's what he's proud of. Watch this, guys. Watch this. How many of you in this room have children? Don't be embarrassed. It's okay. Do your children have to earn your love? You better straighten out. I'm never going to love you again. You love them no matter what, right? And here's the thing. Do you always like what they do? Heck no, they're dumb. My dad used to ask me, where was your head at today, boy? Was it fastened to your shoulders? Because I don't think so. But see, here's the thing. You got to keep the song in your heart. See, some of you already know this. Some of you today, you're facing some circumstances that are terrifying, that are hard. It feels like that Philippian dark jail. It feels like your arms are chained to the wall and you can't do anything. You feel helpless. I get that. But my friend, God is not done. Keep singing those songs of praise. Watch what God can do. I think it'll blow you away. See, religion says this. Religion says, you know what? If you can change your behavior, that'll prove that you believe, and then you'll belong. If you can change your behavior, that'll prove that you believe, and then you can belong. Now here's the problem. Changing behavior is not very easy, right? How many of us really stink at changing behavior? This is funny. This morning, I looked in the mirror, and I had a thought. And the thought was, Dave, you're fat. The mirror do that to you. Matter of fact, I didn't even want to turn profile and look. I was afraid. And then the next thought was, you need to do something about that. So I thought, maybe diet and exercise. Then the thought after that was, I like ice cream. Religion says change your behavior to prove that you believe, then you belong. Jesus says, you already belong. You might as well believe so God can change you. You already belong. You might as well believe. Let's let God change you. See, when we have the answer, I can't, the answer Jesus comes back to us with, he said, you know what? I know you can't, but I can. I already have. I've done it. Could I get you to bow your heads and close your eyes for just a moment, please? Let me ask you today. Are you struggling to hang on to your joy? You're struggling to hang on to the victory. You say, you know what? It's just way harder. There's some heart-wrenching things that are going on in my life right now, and I just don't know how I'm going to be able to survive it. You need the hope to come flooding back. If that's you, just raise your hand up real quick. Put it right down. That's me, man. Say, that's me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to go a step further. Some of you guys, you're facing some stuff, and you're afraid. You're literally afraid because you don't know how it's going to go. Anybody? Raise your hand real quick. Say, that's me, Pastor Dave. That's facing some stuff. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hallelujah. You see, fear is not the absence of faith, but faith is in spite of our fear. I wonder today, has anybody here lost your song? You kind of lost your joy, you lost your umph. Say, man, I just don't know if I want to. I don't even know if I can. That I can't thing is just riveting your spirit right now. Anybody right there say, I need prayers right now? Raise your hand. Come on, raise your hand. Come on. Come on. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Could y'all stand this morning, please? When it comes to holy things, when it comes to supernatural things, normal is I can't. That's normal. Turn to somebody and tell them, I'm normal. Just tell them, I'm normal. Yeah, that's hilarious, isn't it? Some of you lost all hope in humanity right there. It's over. But here's something else that is normal when it comes to the holy things, when it comes to God. He knows you can't, but he wants you to know. He said, I can. When Moses said, who am I going to tell him to send me? He said, I am. Jesus says that's the same thing. He said, just tell him I am. So God can. So as we finish today, probably the most important thing you get out of today, get your song back, man. Get your song back. I don't care what it is as long as it encourages you. You want to hear something dumb? My song last week was Pharrell. Happy? How many guys know that one? See, now it's going to be stuck in your head all day long. I'd sing it for you, but you know. Now, the cool thing about having a song in your heart, how many of you guys know that some of us, we just can't sing? I mean, really. See, a lot of us, we're like the really bad American Idol tryout. Your mama's the only one thinks you can sing. But see, here's the deal. It's in here. It's not out here. It doesn't matter what's out here. What matters is what's here and here. Get this song in your heart because you need your joy. Because that's what produces hope. And the hope's going to carry you through to the other day. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to pray. Our prayer partners are up here. I'm going to encourage you. Sometimes you just got to shake some stuff off. Right? And move on. That's what I want to encourage you to pray. Our prayer partners are here. Pray right where you're at. Come kneel on the steps. Just something. I want you to pray. Okay? You ready?